Now on 4 News Now at 6, the future of abortion rights in Idaho are now in the hands of the state Supreme Court. We'll break down the arguments both sides made to try and convince the justices.
I hope you are enjoying this beautiful summer-like weather because it will be sticking around a little while longer. I'll let you know if the weather will be cooling down anytime soon in the First Alert forecast.
The candidates for Spokane County Sheriff go head-to-head in their first debate. What questions they wanted each other to answer and the controversy one candidate can't outrun. You're watching 4 News Now at 6 o'clock. We start with breaking news tonight. 5 people are now facing charges stemming from a deadly shooting at Franklin Park in North Spokane.
That shooting happened on August 27th. Detectives found 22-year-old Oblos Quios dead after he was shot in the head. 3 others were also hurt in that shooting.
Police tell us they developed enough evidence to connect crimes to 4 18-year-olds and a teen underage. 3 of the 5 are facing a murder charge. Detectives say they had help from Homeland Security and started making arrests this morning.
So you're saying we don't care about the woman's health?
Well, we care about the woman's health, but we care about the life of the fetus as well.
So the life of the fetus overcomes the health of the mother?
Yes, Your Honor.
After one of the most consequential court cases in the state's history, the fate of abortion in the Gem State now lies with the Idaho Supreme Court justices. It was a back-and-forth hearing this morning where justices challenged both Planned Parenthood and the state.
The topic they were debating: should Idaho's near-total abortion ban remain in place? As it stands today, Idaho has outlawed abortions with very few exceptions. Those include rape, incest, or if the pregnancy threatens the life of the woman carrying the child.
In the cases of rape and incest, a victim must present a police report to the physician performing the abortion before that medical procedure can take place. Jordan Smith has been tracking this all day. He joins us with what he took from the courtroom this morning and what happens next.
Well, as you mentioned, the stakes in this legal battle are high. This morning, both sides got 1 hour to try to convince the Idaho Supreme Court justices whether or not these highly restrictive abortion laws should remain in place. And the justices, as you just saw, did not hesitate to challenge these arguments. In a hearing that lasted just over 2 hours, both Planned Parenthood and the state presented their arguments on whether or not to maintain Idaho's current abortion laws.
For 50 years, generations of Idaho women have had control over their bodies and lives with respect to the most intimate, personal, and private decision imaginable: whether to carry a pregnancy to term or whether to terminate it.
Planned Parenthood went first, arguing the right to an abortion is fundamental and defended by the right to privacy within Idaho's Constitution.
Counsel, you can have a fundamental right. It doesn't prohibit the state from trying to regulate
Absolutely.
the fundamental right.
First off, what we're dealing with here is not a regulation, it's a ban.
Once the nonprofit stepped down, the state took the stand.
And there is no evidence that the drafters of the Idaho Constitution intended to protect as a fundamental right the ability to have an abortion.
The current law states that one of the only exceptions to receive an abortion is if the woman's life is in danger, though it remains vague when it comes to how the pregnancy impacts the woman's overall health.
The fetus's life cannot be terminated at the expense of the woman's health, but it can be terminated to save the woman's life.
So you're saying we don't care about the woman's health?
Well, we care about the woman's health, but we care about the life of the fetus as well.
So the life of the fetus overcomes the health of the mother?
Yes, Your Honor.
Justices later pried about the civil enforcement bill that went into effect 6 weeks ago. The bill allows for family members, like an uncle, to sue medical providers who perform abortions on family members, regardless of how distant they may be.
Would the uncle still have standing, say, if he hadn't talked to his brother for 10 years?
Yes, because he lost a niece or a nephew.
So there's no requirement to show that he ever would have had contact with that child?
Correct.
Well, he's going to get a minimum of $20,000.
That's right.
And once the 2 hours were up, the court was adjourned, and now the justices will deliberate on the matter. It's unclear how long this will take to reach a decision, but 4 of the 5 justices do lean on the conservative side of the political spectrum, and also a factor that may play into their ruling: 2 of these justices are up for re-election come November.
Jordan, thank you. Last week, the University of Idaho sent an email to staff with a set of guidelines discouraging them from discussing issues like abortion or birth control on campus. Now the university is out with a new staff memo. Bronte Saratsky spoke with students at the university and has their reaction.
The University of Idaho sent out a new memo clarifying with students that university policies have not changed due to the No Public Funds for Abortion Act.
There's a lot of confusion.
Confusion about what is and isn't allowed on the University of Idaho's campus after the overturn of Roe v. Wade. On Wednesday, the University of Idaho sent out a new memo to the public, saying that after they sent out their original memo, it quickly took a life of its own, with misinformation, confusion, and emotion leading the conversation.
Like I said, I heard the thing before, then now the statement from the university. It's kind of hard to tell, really what's going on, I guess, but some clarity would be nice.
Students say they haven't seen much change on campus since coming back from summer break.
Like I said, my roommate gets her birth control through here, and everything has been continuing on as normal for her. So I think that they're doing pretty good.
The university's original memo stated that employees faced a risk of losing their jobs, even possible jail time for promoting, advertising, or giving abortions on the clock. Their updated memo on Wednesday states that penalties of the law are criminal in nature. The university does not impose criminal charges nor conduct criminal investigations. For freshmen attending college for the first time, the overall news was scary.
Hearing about Roe v. Wade and stuff. Living in Idaho, that your options are going to be limited, but yeah, coming here was a little scary. I heard a lot of rumors about, teachers will be prosecuted and whatnot if they talk about contraception or abortions or anything like that. So definitely was scary, to say the least.
Now, students say they just feel confused about what they really can and cannot access on campus. As students remain confused as to what this means for them, the university isn't offering any clarification. Reporting in Moscow, Bronte Saratsky, 4 News Now.
Schools in the small town of Reardon were evacuated by police today, and police say it all started with an angry father. Officers say the man was recently served with a no-contact protective order on behalf of his children's mother. Spokane County deputies called Reardon police, saying the dad may have made threatening comments about going down to the schools and picking up the kids, so the school was put on lockdown. And eventually kids were bused to the train museum 2 miles out of town as a precaution to be reunited with parents. But now law enforcement is working to track down that father because of a previously planned teacher in service day. There will be no school there tomorrow.
If you get up early enough, you can wear a sweater in the morning and a t-shirt during the day. Chris, you're always telling your kids to layer up. It's also good weather for the fashion-forward, a two-outfit kind of day, you might say.
I suppose so. Yes, I would have to get up early enough, as you mentioned, to experience that. But you certainly need a t-shirt in the afternoon. Here's our high temperatures across the region today. 80s, 70s around the entire Spokane area. At 82 at 9 Mile, it was 81 today in Spokane Valley. Upper 70s in Liberty Lake, and in Spokane it was 83 today in Deer Park. Here we are only about 10 minutes from sunset, and temperatures are still in the 70s. It is 74 in the valley right now, as well as Post Falls, 72 in Hayden, and 74 degrees in Deer Park. We'll cool down into the upper 40s and lower 50s for overnight lows. So yes, you'll need a sweater in the morning. Around the region, we do find 60s up in Bonners Ferry, but it's 70s and 80s for much of the rest of the region. In your Friday planner, 52 degrees at 8 o'clock with mostly sunny skies. We are going to see some high and mid-level clouds drifting through, much like what we saw today. High temperature of 78 degrees. Pretty nice start to the weekend. I'll let you know if this weather is going to stick around through Sunday and tell you about some changes next week. That's coming up in just a few minutes. Kirsten?
Chris, thank you. Well, a 15-year-old girl from Bonner County is missing tonight. Kaylina Kelly is 5'5", about 150 pounds, and has dark brown hair and brown eyes. You see this picture on your screen. If you have any information, contact Bonner County Dispatch at 208-265-5525.
Well, you're looking at a much hazier downtown Spokane this evening. Meteorologist Matt Gray is coming up with how the warm weather is impacting air quality and perhaps much more. Plus,
I love being a mom, and I wouldn't trade it for the world, even on the hard days.
She's legally blind, and she's pushing forward being a foster mom. What local organizations are doing to help her and her kids get around? Coming up.
And the first debate for who will be the next Spokane County Sheriff is in the books. Coming up, see the issues they're focused on and the questions they had to answer for. You're watching 4 News Now at 6.
Track live radar on the 4 News Now weather app.
Save your greed! Each month, 4 News Now is focusing on a cause that's important to our community by helping to get the message out. This is good for you to know.
I'm Dr. Lauren Van Gemmer. I am the owner of I Smile Orthodontics in Spokane. Orthodontics is really not just for kids any longer. It's for people of all ages. There's no exact age, but in general, the American Association of Orthodontics recommends age 7 to be seen for a first visit. And the reason is if we catch things soon, we might be able to prevent bigger things later. In our office, we have what we call the 7-Up Kids Club. We see them about every 6 to 12 months. And what we're looking for are cross bites, underbites, overbites, extra teeth, missing teeth, things that'll impact treatment later on. So if you have a kid of any age, but especially age 6, 7, 8, 9, and you're curious as to if they have any orthodontic needs, feel free to contact our office. You can call or text our office any day, and you can find those numbers on our website, ismilespokane.com.
It's time for 4 News Now, Coats for Kids. Just drop off new or gently used coats at any of our sponsored locations. We'll bring them to Alsco for professional cleaning, then get them out to local children in need. Donate to Coats for Kids through October 31st.
Global Credit Union is very active in our community, and Coats for Kids is one of the causes that we love. And it's not only coats, we also accept cash. So bring your donations to any Global Credit Union branch location, and we'll purchase brand new coats for our community. At Global Credit Union, we love being a part of Coats for Kids.
Joe Biden's open borders have threatened our neighborhoods and our children's safety. Fentanyl-related deaths have increased right here in Idaho. Gang members transport fentanyl and other dangerous drugs into our schools and communities. This has got to stop. I'm Mike Crapo. I approve this message. It's time we control the borders and shut down the pipeline of drugs and violence into Idaho.
If you're looking to score big on the best lineup of certified used or new SUVs and trucks just in time for the winter months, plus get up to 60 months low interest financing, then come on down to Findlay for a touchdown of savings.
Are you ready for winter and unexpected power outages? Talk with the experts at Country Homes Power to find the best fireplace to protect your home, even when the power goes out. Like Valor gas fireplaces. Visit Country Homes Power today.
In our ongoing For the People coverage, the sheriff's race is heating up. You'll head to the polls soon to elect a new Spokane County sheriff. The current sheriff is not running for re-election. 2 candidates believe they're the better choice to keep the community safe. 4 News Now streamed their first debate earlier today on KXLY.com, showing you where they stand on issues you care about. And tonight at 6, our Esther Bauer shows us what John Knowles and Wade Nelson wanted each other to answer for.
Well, guys, both of these candidates were asked several questions about how they would run the office if elected. At the end of the debate, they questioned each other about issues they want the public to know about. Take a listen to the question Wade Nelson had John Knowles answer for.
As the undersheriff for Spokane County, you were suspended for 4 weeks with no pay after admitting to saying all ex-wives should be killed. They need to be put in their place. The question is, what assurances does the public have you would not continue to make additional derogatory remarks toward the very public you serve and bring shame on the entire office of the sheriff of Spokane County?
I did not mean what I said to a secretary who I had worked with for probably 15 years. I shouldn't have said it, and I learned that as a leader, as an executive in the sheriff's office, I should have not uttered that.
And here's what John Knowles wanted Wade Nelson to answer for.
Wade, you announced your candidacy for sheriff in April of this year. Prior to announcing, what steps did you take to qualify yourself to be an elected law enforcement executive?
In the sheriff's department, I chose a different path than most. I didn't want to move up as sergeant in that way. I wanted to be in leadership positions in specialty teams that still served and touched the community the whole time through.
Now, homelessness, accountability for criminals, and building a new jail were important issues throughout the entire debate. And when it comes to school safety, they also both said they'd like to see more deputies in our local schools to protect students and build relationships with young people. We'll continue to track this race before you head to the polls. Reporting in studio, Esther Bauer, 4 News Now.
And if you missed it, you can watch a full recording of the Spokane County Sheriff's debate right now on KXLY.com.
There's also a lot of other races that could lead to major changes around the inland Northwest, including the gubernatorial race in Idaho, where Republican incumbent Brad Little will face off against Democrat Stephen Haidt. Little was criticized by members of his own party for not taking a tough stance against masking at the peak of the pandemic, despite never issuing a mask mandate. And if Democrats want to keep control of the Senate, incumbent Patty Murray will need to defeat Republican candidate Tiffany Smiley. This is Smiley's first time running for office. She has the support of several Republican state lawmakers, including Representative Kathy McMorris Rogers.
Also on the ballot, East Valley School District is asking taxpayers to renew its existing levy. The current levy is expiring. If renewed, the district will add new roofs, heating and cooling systems, and more security cameras. At 6:30, whether this levy would cost taxpayers any extra money and why East Valley schools need this levy to pass.
As we get closer to Election Day, we want to hear from you. Send us your questions and we will take them to the candidates. You can find the form to submit those questions. It's on KXLY.com.
Beautiful sunset with some high and mid-level clouds just adding to the excitement. I'll let you know if there's any sign of precipitation coming in the 7-day forecast. That's coming up after the break.
Download the 4 News Now app today. 4 News Now is brought to you by Carpet Barn.
The internet is full of misinformation about how elections work. There are several things you can do to spot misinformation. Be cautious of headlines designed to provoke anger, fear, or other strong emotions. Double check that the source of information is a trusted expert. And see if other news outlets are also reporting on the issue. You deserve to know the facts about Washington state elections. Visit sos.wa.gov to learn more.
Get exactly what you want. Wendell Ford is ready to help you find that vehicle you've been wanting to buy. Built for you. F-150, Bronco, Bronco Sport, Explorer, Mach-E, and Maverick. Here's how it works. Make a list of options you want. Wendell will work with you on financing to fit your budget. And then we will order the vehicle of your dreams or select from current inventory. Get exactly what you want. Built for you. Wendell Ford at the Y. Drive for generations.
Here at the Meade School District, energy management, it's been something that's been on the rise as far as what's important to us. The reason why is, as the budget continues to shrink, we need to do more with less. Yeah, I love Avista. They've been really great to work with. When I have energy efficiency ideas, I get in touch with my rep. They'll go back to their project managers and to the engineers. Avista does a really great job at telling you what the simple payback will be of any of the projects, and then you can make an educated decision on whether you want to move forward.
Turn up the heat. The Commodores live. A musical experience you won't forget. November 10th at Coeur d'Alene Casino. Get tickets now at cdacasino.com. 70 million albums sold. 7 #1 hits. The Grammy Award-winning Commodores.
Watch 4 News Now as the Extreme Team upgrades the Carl Maxey Center. What we're going to do is go in and get into the next phase of operation. That's going to be a new library. There's going to be a place in back. There's going to be a nice patio. Watch 4 News Now's Extreme Team, sponsored by Horizon Credit Union.
75 degrees right now in Spokane. At the airport, we have mostly cloudy skies. Those high and mid-level clouds I showed you on the live picture just a minute ago. Northeast winds at 5 miles per hour. It is clear and 72 in Coeur d'Alene. Sunset just 2 minutes ago. 51 for an overnight low with partly cloudy skies. We'll continue to see those clouds streaming through, filtering your moonlight. 78 for a high tomorrow with partly cloudy conditions. Our average high is way down here, 64. Here's a look at our temperature trend over the next 7 days. And this white line is average. By this time next week, next Thursday, it's at 59. As that number keeps dropping, our temperatures are also dropping, but staying above average. We will dip a little bit next week, but not quite as much as we were thinking yesterday. Brought that down to average. Looks like we're still going to be staying with above average temperatures. And in the next half hour, I'm going to show you some things about the 8 to 14 day forecast that well, don't get out the heavy coats yet. Let me just put it that way. Overnight lows tonight will be down in the 40s and 50s, running a little above average. Average high is in the lower 40s. And of course, those Friday highs. Look at all the 80s on this map as we're getting ready to wrap up the last week in October, or the first week in October. It's looking more like the second week in September. Your planning forecast, we're going to be slowly cooling into the mid-70s, sunshine for the weekend. Then there's that big drop into the upper 60s, about 10 degrees above average almost. Overnight lows staying above freezing. In fact, should be staying in the 40s after the next couple of days. Kirsten?
Chris, thank you. Well, while you might be enjoying this sort of second chance at summer, these conditions are keeping smoke and haze around.
And that might not be all. Meteorologist Matt Gray says the effects of this warm weather could last through the holiday season.
That's right. And I think if you love warm weather, you'll probably like what I have to say at the end here. Yeah, but right now it is dry and smoky, and that is for very good reason. In the Spokane area, well, August, it was the hottest one on record. September was the third hottest, and the first 5 days of October, well, they're the hottest in our 141-year record, too, in Spokane. We are still running behind average in the rain department as well. Even with that storm that came through last week, notice here the lack of rain in the Cascades, especially unusual. Basically, all the storms missed there. So it is no wonder that those Cascades fires, they are burning hotter and producing more smoke than fires as you head further east into Washington and around North Idaho. You can see some of those hot spots to the north of Wenatchee on the map there. And that's what really is explaining the difference in air quality from west to east. Look at Wenatchee, where we have seen borderline hazardous air quality at times. Same for Leavenworth, as that continues to be a major issue. Meanwhile, the rest of us staying in moderate, at least for the time being, moving in and out with smoke drifting in the region. So you might be wondering what's next after this. Is this warm pattern? Looks like it's going to continue through most of October. So I was thinking the same thing. Today, I took a look at other years with a hot start to autumn, and here is what I found. There are 5 other Septembers with temperatures similar to this year between 1946 and 2021. In these years, snowfall following October through New Year's Eve was about an average of 5 inches lower than we would have in a typical year. Now, from a basic science perspective, this makes a lot of sense, right? Warmer weather lowers the odds that when a storm comes along, it can make it cool enough for some of that early season snow that we're always kind of anticipating and dreading at the same time, right? The inland Northwest experiences 2 weeks worth of above normal temperatures, 2 more weeks in the fall season than we did 50 years ago. Climate change at work. So this season, a timely example that shows how we're starting to wait longer and longer for the changing of the seasons.
So interesting. Thank you, Matt. Well, Amazon's gearing up for the busy holiday shipping season. How many people they're looking to hire in Spokane coming up. Plus,
you refuse to answer my question about whether you would go back to the jail. That's another interruption.
Chaos in the courtroom, how the judge restored order, and why the man accused of killing 6 people and hurting dozens more is being allowed to represent himself. Coming up next on 4 News Now at 6.
Stream 4 News Now on your TV for free with the KXLY Plus app.
My son's name was Carson. He was just the light of my life. His anxiety and his inability to sleep caused him to purchase a pill from Snapchat, and we know that it's what killed him. Congresswoman McMorris Rodgers is bringing awareness to this. She personally reached out to me. She took the time to hear Carson's story. She has been driven in trying to prevent further loss.
I'm Kathy McMorris Rodgers, and I approve this message.
Get
ready, America, every Friday.
The hottest trends, styles, and must-have. What's the right stuff to buy right now? I really love that. It's time to buy the right stuff.
Yes!
And save big time, too.
The right stuff.
Fridays on GMA. You're going to love it.
Jonah here. Before you decide on an SUV, I invite you to see and drive the Volkswagen Tiguan. It's impressive, and it checks all the boxes. A roomy interior, plenty of cargo space with remote power liftgate. All-wheel drive, that's important in the Northwest. Solid performance, modern infotainment system with all the high-tech choices. Check out the Tiguan at your nearby Post Falls Volkswagen, the home of 0000.
This Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, all 13 Walker's Furniture and Mattress stores get a double sales tax discount on quality furniture throughout the store. Or get no minimum purchase, no money down, no interest for 5 years financing.
At Walker's.
My husband has diabetes.
Even with health insurance, we're having a hard time affording our medications.
Thankfully, we have Patty Murray fighting for us in the U.S. Senate. She kept at it till Congress finally lowered the cost of prescription drugs.
And capped insulin for seniors at $35 a month.
Now we'll save thousands every year. We know when Patty is back in the other Washington.
She is working for us.
I'm Patty Murray, and I approve this message.
It's a 4-day price crash. Today through this Monday at all 3 Cal locations, including their new dealership on Division Street. As Cal loads up the lots full of hot buys and is offering up to 110% trade-in value for your old ride. Plus, delaying all payments until next year. So you can get a new upgraded vehicle and pay less with incredible financing available now. Get your new vehicle this week at Cal.
4 News Now is brought to you by Washington State Employees Credit Union.
I was always told from a young age that I could set my mind to anything that I wanted to. And I knew that I wanted to be a mom. And so I've taken on this journey.
Tonight we're sharing an inspiring story of a Spokane foster mom. Katie Strickland is blind and has worked through many hurdles, but she's never backed down. She and her late husband were the first blind couple to receive a license to become foster parents in the state of Washington.
Getting there was not easy. Strickland faced roadblocks. She continued to push forward. New at 6, our Vanessa Perez has her story.
Strickland and her husband Ryan were eager to become foster parents. A lengthy process because of their blind status, but it didn't stop them. Eventually, they received their first child placement. It was short-lived.
5 days later, Ryan passed away. I was taking a phone call from my mom and was out of the room for 90 seconds. And when I came back, he was gone.
Strickland took the next several months to focus on herself.
It gave me a chance to reflect that Ryan and I had worked so hard to just get approved. All the hurdles we had to jump through, that I just couldn't throw that all away.
When life got tough, Strickland kept going because she wanted to do whatever it took to be a mom. Strickland started the process again, this time to file as a single foster parent. Now, a 7-month-old and 3-year-old bring her joy. We can't show their faces because of confidentiality reasons.
I love being a mom, and I wouldn't trade it for the world, even on the hard days, because it makes the good days just that much sweeter.
She hopes to inspire others to become foster parents or even give back to foster children. Strickland relies on the bus and friends to get her children to school and to doctor's appointments, and that has its own challenges. Embrace Washington, a local organization, is raising money so that Strickland can use rideshare apps this winter. She takes 3 to 4 buses just to pick up her children and arrive home, all while having to load and unload the stroller.
It's a lot, and it's overwhelming. But we do what we got to do because that's how we get around.
Strickland's journey continues as she's off to college next year. Reporting in Spokane, Vanessa Perez, 4 News Now.
Well, like we say in camp, everybody's 1 to 2 paychecks away from being in the same situation we're in.
Tonight, we're taking you inside Camp Hope to see what the people living there say needs to be done to help them get off the street.
And voters in East Valley are being asked to renew a more than $18 million levy. How the money will be used to improve school conditions coming up after the break.
Sign up for breaking news alerts with the 4 News Now app.
If you're looking to score big on the best lineup of certified used or new SUVs and trucks just in time for the winter months, plus get up to 60 months low interest financing, then come on down to Findlay for a touchdown of savings.
At Washington Trust Bank, can't is a 4-letter word.
I think we should hire more people.
Doc, I'm late for a meeting. I'm thinking of starting my own practice.
Do it. Too much capital.
We need a warehouse.
I can't imagine how we do that.
We should knock that wall down and expand.
Do it. There's always another wall beyond the wall.
We believe you can do whatever you set your mind to, and we'll help you get there. Washington Trust Bank, privately owned, locally invested.
I was 44, working part-time. It was my first mammogram, and they found a few cancerous places in my left breast. I didn't have any symptoms. I didn't feel sick. I didn't have a lump in my breast. There was nothing. I wasn't afraid I was going to die. My first fear was, how am I going to tell my daughter? As a result of early detection, I didn't have to do chemotherapy. I just did surgery and radiation. Was able to maintain a good quality of life, and now it's a distant memory.
Change is just a part of life. As humans, we're wired to handle life's changes, big and small. COVID-19 is one of those changes, and it's sticking around for a while, whether we like it or not. Each new wave requires us to adapt, to adjust, but together, we will. COVID keeps changing, but so can we. Visit takecarewa.org to learn how.
Do you want to save energy this winter? Time to talk with the experts at Country Homes Power. Save on Valor gas fireplaces that distribute steady, even heat even when the power is out. Turn down your furnace and heat wisely with Valor. Shop the savings at Country Homes Power today.
Next ET, our Tori Spelling exclusive, why she's talking family, love, and lies.
If I don't own it, people are putting stuff out there that's way worse.
Plus, we're with the stars of Grey's Anatomy, what to expect from season 19.
That's the house that Grey built.
Yeah.
So she's always there.
Then our Skylar Aston exclusive that's pitch perfect.
And I'm feeling good.
Next ET.
Watch 4 News Now at 6 and Entertainment Tonight at 7:30. Live from downtown Spokane, this is 4 News Now at 6:30.
New tonight at 6:30, Lori Vallow's trial is delayed indefinitely again. The judge says he wants a new competency exam.
Vallow is accused of killing her 2 children and hiding their bodies in 2019. The remains of 7-year-old Joshua Vallow and 16-year-old Tylee Ryan were uncovered on her now husband, Chad Daybell's property in Fremont County, Idaho, 2 years ago. Vallow and Daybell were charged with murder more than a year ago, but the trial was delayed over concerns about Vallow's competency.
The judge ruled earlier this year that Vallow was competent to stand trial, but today he said new information from the defense requires a reevaluation. Prosecutors are seeking the death penalty in Vallow's case.
In the upcoming November election, East Valley School District is now asking voters for help. The school buildings are aging and in desperate need of repairs.
District officials say an existing levy is now expiring. An $18.5 million renewal levy will be spent on new roofs, heating and cooling systems, and more security cameras. Our Peter Choi explains why the East Valley School District needs this levy to be renewed and whether taxpayers will have to spend extra money.
Leaking roofs and hot classrooms are not the most ideal conditions for students to learn. And East Valley High School officials say the old buildings are in need of attention. And they want voters to say yes to renewing a levy so repairs can be made.
Drips that have the traditional buckets catching water sometimes.
Here in East Valley High School, 30-year-old roofs are a major headache when it rains.
Leaking that will run down the side of a wall. A lot of times ceiling tiles will become swollen with water. Sometimes they break through.
School officials say students have a hard time studying in class, particularly when it's warm.
Come out of class, they want to drink a little bit more. They want to focus better, but just have trouble with the intensity of some of the heat.
And when it's in winter,
a lot of coats, some hats, once in a while to keep keep kids warm, and they just aren't comfortable.
And East Valley School District wants to fix this. The district is asking taxpayers to renew expiring levy to add new roofs, heating and cooling systems, and more security cameras.
Last week during the rainstorm, there was water flowing into the hallway at Trent Elementary, and the roof's been maintained, but it just is getting old.
If passed, the taxpayers will still pay the same amount over the next 4 years. They will pay 75 cents per $1,000 in assessed home value.
Even if assessed value goes up, we'll never collect more than that amount. So that rate will drop if assessed values do go up.
If renewed this November, district officials say that the project will begin next summer. In Spokane Valley, Peter Choi, 4 News Now.
Ooh, here's a live look at a moody sky on this October evening, looking over downtown Spokane to the south-southwest. A little bit of wildfire smoke creating the haze. That's coming from a variety of sources, mainly the Cascade fires, but also some prescribed burns around the region. Air quality remaining in that good to moderate range. However, a lot of it is in the mid and upper layers of the atmosphere. Here are 4 things to know about your weather. Unseasonably warm conditions continue through a gorgeous weekend. It will be cooler next week, but not cool by any means. Showers looking less and less likely. Here's a look at our high temperatures today. Lots of 80s. Deer Park, 9 Miles, Spokane Valley, and downtown. Upper 70s common elsewhere around the region, and we are still in the 70s in many locations. We have dropped to 69 in Spirit Lake right now, also in the 60s in Bonners Ferry and Colville, but still 84 in Moses Lake and 82 right now in Ritzville. Your Friday planner, expect a day very much like today with mostly sunny to partly sunny skies. We'll see those high and mid-level clouds drifting through again. It's not going to impact our temperature, though. A high of 78. 64 is our average high. I will be back with your 7-day outlook. Also looking out 8 to 14 days. Some things you might want to know about that in just a few minutes. Kirsten?
Thank you, Chris. Well, community leaders are at odds over the best way to manage the 600-plus people living at Camp Hope.
Today, the Spokane Homeless Coalition held a meeting at camp to talk about the problems. Tonight at 6:30, we hear from someone living and working at Camp Hope and his journey to find housing once again.
Within these discussions, a common theme emerged, and that was to meet the campers where they're at. Now, Chris Sen, he shared his story with us in hopes of being heard.
To have people hear our story and hopefully they actually listen to what we had to say and understand that we're all human, you know, we're all in this world together.
Life hasn't always looked this way for Chris Sen, a veteran.
Came from a family of money, never any kind of abuse or anything like that, and just one day I lost my job because my car quit running, and here I am.
He wasn't able to keep up with the bills.
So like we say in camp, everybody's 1 to 2 paychecks away from being in the same situation we're in.
Sen was hired by Jules Helping Hands about 4 weeks ago and is working towards housing once again.
I'm hoping it happens. I really am.
Robert Lippman, chair of Spokane Homeless Coalition, says the theme in today's discussions was to meet them where they're at.
The objective of the coalition is to always provide educational opportunities in a platform such as this, especially this setting.
Another concern as we head into the winter months is keeping these campers warm. Most aren't interested in the resources that are available.
Sounds like they're willing to endure, elements, and that's their choice.
As for Sen, he says the most ideal path to finding a home is for it to just be affordable.
Rent's it's outrageous, you know. Got to make affordable housing, you know. I don't know how to get there. I don't have that answer, but there's just got to be some form.
And some compassion along the way would help too.
It hurts to see people when they point and laugh at you and, you know, names called at you. And, you know, I quit doing that in 3rd grade.
If you take a look behind me here, you can see they do now have a black curtain surrounding the entire fence area, giving those campers a little bit more privacy. Now, Washington DOT told us today that 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. curfew that was at one time in place is now referred to as a quiet time. Those campers are able to leave within that period, but they do have to exit through The entryway, Jules Helping Hands, tells us they're allowed to leave for work-related reasons, emergencies, and if they need to go to the store. Reporting live in Spokane, Emily Bloom, 4 News Now.
Emily, thank you. Monkeypox is in North Idaho. The Panhandle Health District confirmed a case today. There are 15 total cases in the state and more than 26,000 confirmed cases nationwide. It's not easily spread. People who get it end up with flu-like symptoms followed by a rash. If you think you might have monkeypox, tell your doctor right away.
The governors of Washington, Oregon, and California met with the head of government of British Columbia this morning to sign a new climate agreement. Wildfires were a large topic of the discussion, specifically their impacts on health and economy.
3 states and 1 province who can see through the smoke. And that's what we're here today to do, which is to see through the smoke, to see a clean energy economy which we can build on the Pacific coast.
Governor Inslee hopes these efforts will encourage other states to create their own clean energy plans.
What was thought to be a distraction from school is now a part of studies. The gaming industry is growing, and some high school students in Spokane are learning the basics of how to create a video game.
I play a lot of video games in my free time. I keep it on me at all times.
At the community school, students are learning about coding languages. Coding language is used to program games, how they look, and how they interact with the player. At Lewis and Clark High School, there's a digital gaming class. Students are learning game design, animation, and graphics and programming. The teacher says creating a game is another way to write a story and encourage students of all backgrounds to be a part of that course.
Around the nation tonight, the trial has begun for the man accused of driving through a Christmas parade in Wisconsin, killing 6 people and injuring dozens more.
Quickly came to a halt as defendant Darrell Brooks, who is representing himself, kept interrupting the judge before proceedings even began to take a listen.
You refused to answer my question about whether you would go back to the jail. That's another interruption. So based on his refusal and his choice to come, that's another interruption. Based upon his failure to answer my question directly, I will take that as a non-response, but he came to court here today. That's another interruption. Mr. Brooks, you are now going to be removed to the other courtroom. I have had a dozen or more interruptions. We'll be off the record while we do that. Thank you.
Once in the other courtroom, Brooks could be seen shirtless with his back towards the camera. The judge said he threatened to break and throw things. Brooks previously pleaded not guilty by insanity. However, his public defenders withdrew the insanity plea in September. His attorneys later filed to withdraw from the case, and the judge ruled to allow Brooks to represent himself at trial.
President Biden is pardoning thousands of Americans convicted of simple drug possession of marijuana. He's also calling on governors to do the same as his administration takes steps toward decriminalizing the drug and addressing charging practices that disproportionately impact people of color. Biden says the move reflects his position that no one should be in jail just for using or possessing marijuana. He says his action will ease the consequences for people who have prior federal convictions for marijuana possession who may be denied employment, housing, or educational opportunities as a result. It's important to note that no one is currently in federal prison just for simple possession, but the pardon could help people overcome obstacles to rendering a home or finding a job.
Amazon wants to hire 150,000 new workers nationwide to prepare for the holiday shopping season. In Spokane County, it's looking to hire around 700 people. The job openings include full-time, seasonal, and part-time positions. The company says sign-on bonuses will be offered to those who accept holiday positions. They could vary from $1,000 to $3,000.
Well, the Cougs are just 2 wins away from bowl eligibility. Hear how they plan on cracking down on turnovers as they prepare to take on undefeated USC this weekend. Coming up in sports.
Download the 4 News Now app today.
ABC News, honored for excellence with 41 Emmy nominations, the most of any news organization anywhere. Thank you for making ABC News America's #1 news.
There's never been a better time to get the luxurious quality and refined style you envision for your home. During National Karastan Month, receive up to a $1,000 rebate on beautiful Karastan carpets.
Save up to $1,000 on Karastan flooring at Panhandle Carpet One.
Joe Biden's open borders have threatened our neighborhoods and our children's safety.
Fentanyl-related deaths have increased right here in Idaho. Gang members transport fentanyl and other dangerous drugs into our schools and communities. This has got to stop. I'm Mike Crapo. I approve this message. It's time we control the borders and shut down the pipeline of drugs and violence into Idaho.
It says here, United Healthcare has America's most chosen Medicare plans and local Medicare plan experts.
They'll even find you a plan with good dental coverage.
How do you know?
Scott, my local Medicare plan expert. He helped me find the right plan.
With benefits including prescription, drug, vision, and dental coverage, our Washington team is ready to help you find a Medicare plan that meets your needs and budget.
Talk to a local Medicare plan expert today at 1-888-SHOP-UHC.
Cold case in Alaska. Her death is part of a pattern, and we need to show who's to blame.
We're going to break this story.
Democrats in Washington are threatening our way of life. Reckless spending fueling inflation. Shutting down energy production here at home. A push to defund the police. Kathy McMorris Rogers is fighting every day to stop them and protect Eastern Washington. Cutting spending to curb inflation. Unleashing American energy production. And making sure law enforcement has the resources they need. Kathy McMorris Rogers, our voice.
I'm Kathy McMorris Rogers, and I approve this message.
There's never been a better time to get the luxurious quality and refined style you envision for your home. During National Keristan Month, receive up to a $1,000 rebate on beautiful Keristan carpets.
Save up to $1,000 on Keristan flooring at Panhandle Carpet One.
Well, the sunsets are early, but a little treat today on today's beautiful sunset. We are watching the time lapse and a sundog forms out. Well, there it is right there. You gotta look quickly, but nice treat. The clouds certainly add a little more drama to the sunset, and just a little bit of wildfire smoke provides that color, and our sundog right there. Hard to pick out. I just tweeted this video if you want to watch it over and over again. I have been. Here's our temperature trend over the next 7 days. Our white line right here is average. By this time next week, our average high is 59. So even with our little dip coming next week, we are well above average by about 10 degrees. Here's what's going on. Big picture, we have a big old ridge of high pressure over the inland northwest, occasionally flattening to let a few high clouds through. But the system that we were talking about yesterday that was potentially going to bring us some cooler and wetter weather early next week is now staying to the east. Here's Tuesday. We have high pressure building right back in. Now, initially, as that area of low pressure makes its way to our east, we are going to be in a northwesterly flow, and that's what's going to bring that dip down into the upper 60s. Again, still above average, but we will have a little bit of a dip. But then this high pressure is going to really assert itself again as we get into the middle of next week, and that is where our 8 to 14 day forecast picks up. And as you will notice, and you may not even be able to see, there's a line right here. We are not only in the red, but we are in that really bright red, indicating a strong signal of a trend toward above average temperatures for October 14th through the 20th. The signal also very strong in terms of precipitation. We are in those darker browns, indicating, boy, it's pretty much a slam dunk once they bring out the dark crayons. Here's a look at your planning forecast for the next 7 days. No sign of precipitation. About the only little hint of a sprinkle is overnight Tuesday and overnight Monday and into Tuesday as we begin to cool down. But as I'm looking at things, it's looking more and more like we are just going to stay dry through the 7 day forecast and apparently in the 8 to 14 day forecast as well. Kirsten?
Well, Chris, I've been telling my family members who are visiting all about your forecasts. We're excited.
Oh, great.
Let's take a look now at ABC's primetime lineup tonight. It's a night of premieres. The season premiere of Station 19, that's at 8, followed by the season premiere at 9, and series premiere for Alaska Daily at 10. So we forgot Grey's Anatomy's in there too. That's at 9.
Stream 4 News Now on your TV for free with the KXLY Plus app.
My husband and I have had the Harvester for about 13 years. If there's anything you want to know about Spangle, come in and find out at the Harvester. Avista contacted us about a business partner program to upgrade our lights to LED lights. Between the energy efficient rebates that we got and the grant, it was completely free to us. On our energy bill, we're saving about $500 a month. Everything has gone up, so that savings has been a huge help to the restaurant.
Chowila Casino is giving you the chance to win Monster Mash Cash. Here's how you could win your share of over $12,000 cash. Play your favorite games with your Sun Club card. Earn entries for Monster Mash Cash. On Saturdays this month, you can earn bonus entries while playing your favorite games with your Sun Club card. Monster Mash Cash drawings happen Saturday, October 22nd. Cash prizes drawn every 30 minutes starting at 6 p.m. Learn more at Chowilacasino.com.
These doors are closed because it's too dangerous to ask employees to work here anymore. Think about that. For decades, Patty Murray has spearheaded reckless policies that lead to shortages, inflation, and so much crime that you can't even get a cup of coffee from the hometown shop on Capitol Hill, even if you could still afford it. 30 years in the Senate, and this is what she has to show for it? If she won't do the job, I will. I'm Tiffany Smiley, and I approve this message.
Some people say the metaverse will only be virtual. But one day, this farmer will use augmented reality to help ensure the best yield. Urban planners will model traffic solutions to help decrease commute times. Exploring a spacecraft in a museum is one thing. But one day, the metaverse will help students learn about the rings of Saturn. The metaverse may be virtual, but the impact will be real.
The season is changing and fall is upon us.
So we thought we'd share some of our favorite activities here at Kerner Furniture.
Falling in love with the new sofa.
Falling asleep in the bedroom set of your dreams.
Our favorite activity by far is watching the prices fall during our 43rd anniversary sale.
Come in now and browse our selection of living room, bedroom, and dining sets, all at great prices.
Kerner Furniture's 43rd anniversary sale, happening now. Kerner Furniture, nice store, low prices.
4 News Now is brought to you by Foothills Mazda.
For Detroit, high drive, left field. Say goodbye to that one.
The Seattle Mariners are in Toronto tonight, resting up for their first playoff game in 21 years. They take on the Blue Jays tomorrow at 1 o'clock in the first game of the best-of-3 series. Luis Castillo will take the mound for the Mariners. Game 2 will be Saturday. If there is a Game 3, you'll be able to watch it Sunday. There should be a Game 3. I don't know. Hopefully. Well, right here on 4 News Now at 10 a.m. That's on Sunday, if there's a Game 3. Well, big announcement from Gonzaga University today.
The men's basketball team will play Kentucky each year for the next 6 years. That's a big-time matchup for the Zags. Kentucky is one of the most storied programs in the country. A couple months ago, Gonzaga announced the Wildcats would come to Spokane in November to take on the Zags. Then next year, the Zags will travel to Kentucky and play in the fabled Rupp Arena. The new agreement adds 2 more games at neutral sites. The 6th game will be in the McCarthy Center, and that one's going to be wild. Both teams are national championship contenders this year.
Well, this year's game will be in the arena. That's on November 20th. Tickets have not gone on sale yet.
Gotta wait.
Yes, you do. The WSU Cougar football team is on a tear.
Yeah, they're looking to crack into the top 25 and win this weekend. If they do, could help them do just that.
Alex Crescenti shows us what they need to do for a win over the USC Trojans.
There's not many people who thought a month ago the Washington State Cougars would be 4-1 at this point in the season, but here we are, 2 wins for bowl eligibility and in the thick of the conference race. However, their play has not been as clean as the coaches would have liked, as the turnovers have plagued the offense time and time again this season, and that's got to change if they want to beat USC this week. After turning the ball over just 18 times last year, the 2022 Washington State Cougars are on pace to blow that statistic out of the water by season's end. But just how bad have they been at protecting the ball this year? Well, in each of the first 5 games, the offense has coughed it up at least twice and hasn't won the turnover battle a single time. with the defense only being able to get 8 takeaways themselves, also down from 2021. So to be sitting with a positive record at this point is just quite remarkable.
You know, our turnover margin, to be 4-1 and be one of probably last in the league in turnover margin, it's going to be hard to continue that success.
For a quarterback, it's ball security, it's job security. I live by that every day, and that's something that I didn't do today. So just clean up things in the film room.
And the team has got their work cut out for them studying film this week, as they'll be going up against a USC team that has been absolutely dominant in this category, forcing 15 turnovers on defense and allowing 1, yes, just 1, on the offensive side of the ball. So in order for the Cougs to stay in the game, Cam Ward and company will have to stay out on the field and not force it like we've been seeing so far. So maybe if we see more of this, maybe, just maybe, they can pull off the upset win.
Sign up for breaking news alerts with the 4 News Now app.
I proudly served our nation and fought for freedom abroad. I never expected to see our temple of democracy ransacked here at home. It's so dangerous that MAGA Republicans, like Mitch McConnell's handpicked candidate for U.S. Senate, Tiffany Smiley, continue to question the 2020 election. Their big lie is a direct threat to our elections and our democracy. Join me in defending America. Say no to Tiffany Smiley before it's too late.
I'm Patty Murray, and I approve this message.
Watch 4 News Now as the Extreme Team upgrades the Carl Maxey Center. What we're going to do is go in and get into the next phase of operation. That's going to be a new library. There's going to be a place in back. There's going to be a nice patio. Watch 4 News Now's Extreme Team, sponsored by Horizon Credit Union.
This Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, all 13 Walker's Furniture and Mattress stores get a double sales tax discount on quality furniture throughout the store. Or get no minimum purchase, no money down, no interest for 5 years financing.
At Walker's.
My son's name was Carson. He was just the light of my life. His anxiety and his inability to sleep caused him to purchase a pill from Snapchat, and we know that it's what killed him. Congresswoman McMorris Rogers is bringing awareness to this. She personally reached out to me. She took the time to hear Carson's story. She has been driven in trying to prevent further loss.
I'm Kathy McMorris Rogers, and I approve this message.
Turn up the heat. The Commodores live. A musical experience you won't forget. November 10th at Coeur d'Alene Casino. Get tickets now at cdacasino.com. 70 million albums sold. 7 #1 hits. The Grammy Award-winning Commodores.
Create a home retreat with a beautiful hot tub or swim spa from Country Homes Power, your spa superstore. Offering great discounts, special financing, all with professional delivery. It's time to relax during the Country Homes Power 75th anniversary sale.
The mystery of what happened to Tonka, Hollywood's most famous chimp. Next, Inside Edition. He's the star of movies like George of the Jungle. Now the screwball plot to hide his whereabouts.
Did you fake Tonka's death?
His secret hiding place revealed. Then, crossing the Atlantic in a rowboat. One man's historic journey from New York to Ireland. Next, Inside Edition.
Watch 4 News Now at 6 and Inside Edition at 7.
Coming up tonight on Nightside, a massacre in a daycare in Thailand. 37 people killed, including children. We'll have the latest details coming up tonight at 11 o'clock. Just a horrible story there. Let's switch gears now. We're going to send over to Chris Crocker with one final look at that forecast.
Thank you, Aaron. Well, the weekend is almost here, and if you have been inside working and haven't had a chance to get out and enjoy our beautiful weather this week, get ready for more. Expect temperatures in the mid-70s on Saturday and Sunday with lots of sunshine.
And like I said in the last blog, I have been telling my family members from California all about Chris's forecast all week. And
this is how you do it, step by step. Morning, evening, night.
It's what you said, layers.
Got to plan your outfit.